Hello guys, so in this video we'll be talking about Elif and what Elif is and what it does. So some people might think that Elif is just another way to write if. While that is true, there is also a backside to it. So let's open up the Python file and let's see how Elif is different from if. So here I'm just gonna let me just close this up for you guys. Okay, let me put a variable known as name, entering it as input. There's going to be an input from the user. I should be small, keep that in mind. Let's enter here. Please enter in your name. Alright, okay, so this basically asks the user for his name. So suppose we want an if statement to check if the name is John or not. So what I would do is I would just put if name equals John. I want to print it as good. Alright, I can just print it as good. Okay, now if I want to accept one more condition, if I want to check if the name is Jake or not, I could do one of two things. I could either put if name equals Jake, or I could put Elif name equals Jake. So what should I do? So let's figure this out. Now suppose I put if name equals Jake. Alright, let's see what happens. I'm gonna put if name equals Jake. I want it to get printed as excellent. Okay, there is just examples. Okay, now if it is neither John nor Jake, I want it to print it as invalid input. So I'm just gonna put else and print it as invalid input. Alright, so okay, so now what does this do? This first checks if the name is John. If it's not John, it goes to Jake. It checks if it's Jake, and even if it's not Jake, it's gonna go down and it's gonna print invalid input. So now when I enter the name John, what do you think will happen? Will only good get printed as the output, or will something else also get printed out? Let's see. I'm going to go to run and run module. Let's wait for a while. It's running, and there you go. Okay, let's enter the name as John and see what happens. Now we expect only good as an output, right? Okay, so now what happened here? We got good, which we wanted, but we also got invalid input. Why is that? Okay, so now let me explain the situation to you guys. So what basically happened is, it went to the first if statement. Okay, when it went to the first if statement, it realized that the input we gave was John, so it printed out good. Alright, then it went to the second if statement. When it went to the second if statement, it began to check if the name is Jake. But since our name is John, it's not Jake, right? So it automatically went to the else statement, which printed it as invalid input. So basically what happened is, this else we gave right here, this is only belonging to the second if and not to the first if. Hope you guys understood the idea of this. It first went to the first if, checked if name is John, it is John, so it printed it out good. For example, like I'll just say what happens. If I put the input as Jake, it's gonna go to the first if statement and check if it's John. But since the input is Jake, it won't print anything outside since we gave no else statement to it. It'll go to the next statement, next if statement, and it is Jake, so it will print out excellent, right? So how do we prevent this problem with like John, Jake, and like basically multiple if statements. So the problem here is that else is belonging only to the second if statement. Like what you see right here, this is a pack. All these belongs together, and this one is all by itself, right? If. So now what do you want? Oops. Okay. So now what do you want to do? We want to make this whole thing into a single pack so that else will begin to the whole statement. So how do you do that? Instead of putting if, I'm just gonna put Elif. Now by putting Elif, what happens is else not only begins to the first if, it also begins to Elif. So for example, I input name as John, it's gonna check if it's John and it's gonna print good, right? So that's it, that's the end of the program. It's not gonna go to the else statement because it already knows the input is John and an output has been given for that. Similarly, if the name is Jake, it's gonna go to the Elif statement, check if the name is Jake, and that's it. It's gonna print excellent, and then the program ends. It won't go to the else statement because all of this belongs to the same pack. If one if or elif is executed, it will not go to the else. So hope you guys got the idea. Now I'm just gonna show you guys how this works. I'm just gonna put John and see. Okay, I'm gonna put John. There you go. Now only good gets printed as the output, right? Now I'll put Jake similarly. Let me adjust this for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna put Jake, and there you go. It prints out excellent. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys understood. If you have any doubts, make sure to leave them in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And that's it. Goodbye.